What's good, everybody? Y'all know who I am. I go by the name of Gabriel Ori, and this is my co-host.
What's up, everybody? JR, how y'all doing?
Cool, calm, collected JR. That's the man behind the machine, who makes the things happen. So listen, man, we're back. We're excited, for another Ask a Producer. And like we say on this show, we feel that everyone is a producer of something. However, we like to speak to the people who are producing positively and impacting their community, their family, their friends, and just kind of pushing that needle just a little bit, in the right direction. So how you feel today, my brother? Another Friday.
Man, I'm feeling okay. A lot better than what I was.
You sure?
Yeah. A lot better than what I was before, man. Hey, everybody stay safe, man. COVID is running around.
Y'all take it from the man himself. That's funny. It's 2024 and we still have COVID in the conversation. That's so crazy. That's crazy to me, man. But yeah, this Friday for me, man, it's a busy day. But all days are busy. When you're doing what you got to do.
Right.
Some people call it the grind. I call it the shine. So listen, we got a great pod in store for you guys tonight. So I want you to guys to go ahead. We're just kind of rambling right now. Share this video. Tag an actress, tag an actor, tag playwrights, tag people who are into that industry, to that field, because we have a very special guest in the green room tonight with us. She hails from Tennessee, Memphis and surrounding areas. We met her, JR, doing a play that she wrote. I'll let her tell what the play is called, but she's right here in Charleston, making it happen, pushing that needle, doing what she has to do, and she goes by the name. She is the one, the only Miss Crystin Gilmore. We're going to have a sound effect right there. How you doing this evening, Miss Crystin?
Am
I saying that right?
Yes, it's Crystin. Yes, and I'm doing well. Thank you, Gabriel. And thank you, JR, for having me. And Gabriel, I must tell you quickly, I did not write this play. I only directed it. The writer is Douglas Lyons, and he is a Broadway actor and playwright.
Thank you for that correction. My fault, guys. So she is the director of this awesome play. So listen, Crystin, I know I gave a little Rudy Poop introduction of who you are, but why don't you really introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. Hello, audience of Ask a Producer. My name is Crystin Gilmore. I am, I would consider myself a Southern New Yorker. Born and raised outskirts of Memphis, Tennessee, and lived in New York for 16 years, adjusting to all the other things of life currently. And I am an actor by trade and craft, as well as a director. I'm a singer, a lover of the Lord, a girl who loves the good laugh, and an occasional delicious glass of wine. That's me.
That's so sweet. Awesome. Listen, I know when we met you, we met through a mutual friend of ours. And from the moment we spoke to you, the moment I spoke to you on the phone, it's like an instant, yeah, you know what? I think we're going to work together. We're going to do something together. It was just that, because you have that, I don't know. It's not, I don't want to say the aura, but because we're just talking on the phone, but just I could tell by your personality that, oh yeah, I like this personality. We're going to get along really good. So we're excited to meet you. And Luke, who you bought, and Mr. JR laid some organ. Tell us a little bit about the play that you directed.
Absolutely. So the play I directed was called Chicken and Biscuits. We just recently closed. It was at the historic Dock Street Theater down in Charleston, on Church Street. And it had a little stint on Broadway, but it came out during COVID, as we were just speaking about. I heard JR talking about it, you as well, Gabriel. And so it was supposed to do a 4-month run, and it got cut short due to COVID. It's a comedy. A lot of people like to call it a comedy. I call it a dramedy. And it's the story of a Black family whose patriarch has passed away. And they are giving him his homegoing service. And one of the gifts that you two were able to give is music. What is a Black church without an organ?
Oh,
What is a Black church without music? And that was something that we needed. And thankfully, Letty, my friend Letty, was able to assist me in connecting with one of you all's friends, who I don't know and should thank.
Yeah.
And we found our way to you all.
Yeah, Mr. Dave Gaffney.
Gaffney.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Shout out to Dave.
Yeah.
But what a connection.
Yeah, shout out.
So
yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Gabe. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, it's funny how things kind of move and work, and so now you're here on the podcast with us, and we're so appreciative of that. So go ahead, JR. I didn't want to cut you off, brother.
You're fine. So what brought you from New York to South Carolina?
Work. I got my first professional acting gig outside of college at Charleston Stage Company, who are in residence at the Dock Street. This is their 46th season at the Dock. I was one of their resident actors many, many, many years ago. And in building relationship, due to work, I would always come back. So Mary Beth, who is now the artistic director, she and I became friends. Not only is she a friend, she's also a mentor and family as well. So in building relationship and also, being talented and there being roles and opportunities, when you do that, people call on you again to work. And so I've come back many times throughout the years to work with this theater. And last year they asked if I wanted to direct, and I was nervous, very nervous, because I had never directed before. I never had a desire to.
Wow.
And I directed once on this island, and it went very well. And so they asked me again if I wanted to direct Chicken and Biscuits, and I said, let's do it, when I read the script.
Wow.
So you know what? That kind of helps me out a little bit because remember, originally I thought you wrote the strip, you directed the strip. So, and I know you mentioned just now a little bit of how you felt, but I was gonna say, like, you've been coming back and forth, as an actress doing that, but now you're in the director's seat. Does that give you any different perspective from a director's lens from being an actress?
Absolutely. I'm grateful that I have my acting chops to lean on. They teach you how to speak to people and how to navigate the industry. As an actor, you are solely responsible for yourself and your scene partners, whoever those are that you're on stage with. Of course, in giving a great performance in the show, as a director, you are over everything. So if it flops, that's on you. And if it soars, it's on you. But it's like the glacier. You only see the small part and all the other pieces that are below that it takes to make a show run. It's publicity, it's stage management, it's all the other actors, it's the props, it's the costumes, it's getting butts in seats, it's everything that you end up being a part of. You become a person who says yes or no. You make a lot of decisions, and it all kind of rests on your shoulders.
Wow. So speaking of decisions, do you play the role in picking the actors, or do you have a team of people to pick these people, because who you have are some great actors to make this play what it is, because it's dope.
Thank you. I wish I could take credit for casting this show. I did not, but I have cast previous shows that I have worked on. This particular one was cast without me. I was away and I was working, because not only do I direct, I also act. So I recently, or last year while this show was being cast, I did 3 shows where I acted and 2 that I directed. So I was pretty busy. But Mary Beth, who's the artistic director, as well as Henry Clay Middleton, who plays the pastor in the show, they were the 2 who were at the present at the auditions and cast the show.
Nice.
And yeah, I agree. It was well cast.
Oh yeah.
Can you share with me, because I'm scrambling in my mind, like, how does this industry look as far as, like, who does what? Who's this person, or this, like you said, you're the director, so they have a casting person, they have a sound guy. What other titles, I guess, are involved in creating, like, what we saw with Chicken and Biscuits?
Okay. So at the head is the artistic director. That's Mary Beth. Frank is the managing director. He is the money guy.
Mm.
He's the one
Oh,
who's making sure
financial.
that yes, he's making sure donations are coming in strong, subscription bases are great, um, who all you can afford to hire to do what. And then you have a publicity section. Beth Curley is over, she's the publicity director. So her job is to make sure we get radio and television and to make sure that we do everything in means of publicity to get people to know what's going on with this show. And that's the office crew. And that's not it. There are people underneath or who work beside them as well, whose names I'm not naming, but are still very active and a part of the production side of things, making, building relationships with other theater companies or businesses in the city who may want to advertise in the playbill that you all got a chance to have. And then on the front of the house or the stage side, you have your actors, you have your stage manager, your director. Sometimes you have an assistant director. Sometimes you have a choreographer if it's a musical. Sometimes you have a music director
Mm.
if it is a musical as well. And then for this show, because we didn't have a music director, we have Luke because there's music in the show. So Luke made a lot of the sound effects. If you heard a car coming, or the differentiation between day and night, or location. Um, the same with you all working with him when it came to the music. He's the person who's the contact. He's the sound designer with Charleston Stage, and then you have the people who build the sets. You have a set designer. Alini is the person who built this particular set, and she has a lot of people in the shop who assist. We have a props manager who is Heidi, and she worked on that. So there's so many different parts from costumes. Courtney is over costumes. She's over the costume shop, but there are plenty of people who work with her on costumes. So when I say it really is like a glacier, and just the peak is at the top
Definitely.
and everything else is under the bottom, all of those things end up being components that work together to produce such an amazing show. So before you can even get to the set, it starts with the director putting together a plot or an idea. I
Right.
tend to
Idea.
make books that say this is what my vision is for this production, and then I show the colors, the theme, my desired intent, the message, what I would like it to look like. And then in all of those meetings that are in pre-production, that could go on for 2 months, 3 months sometimes prior to the show actually starting. Casting typically happens 6 months or a year out, unless you have to recast because someone ends up not being able to do the show. Then from those visions that are created, you continuously have meetings and things get narrowed down based on budget,
Mm.
based on the actual possibility that it can happen. Because when you first start, the question is, if there was no budget, what would you want to do? So then it's limitless, and you give that concept.
Mm.
And so the lighting designer, the set designer, the costumes, they end up bringing in ideas based off of what the director or I say I want, and for each individual character. And then from there, they start to create these plots and say, "Hey, Crystin, this is what we've created. Yes or no?" And then you start saying, "Yes, this works." Not really. I wasn't looking towards those colors. I was leaning more towards these colors, or I would love it to be more of a cherry wood versus an oak, those kinds of things. And then the ball just continues to roll and to roll and to roll and to roll until you have production.
Wow.
That sounds like a whole like
A village.
one thing that we stress that no one person is an island unto
That's what
themselves.
I was thinking.
You need a team of people to play their role, do their part, to make, like you say, the glacier to make everything work.
Mm.
How about time management? Like how does that work? You know, when you have a certain amount of time, who does that part
Okay. You mean time management as far as the production, rehearsals, as
to
far
get
as,
it to get it to what we saw? To all right, we're gonna show this play at this date, but we're back here in idea mode. Oh,
yeah.
how does that work? Is it idea mode first, and then once you start production and seeing everything, then you get a date, or how
So
does that?
it starts at rights to plays and productions. So you decide, hey, I want to do Chicken and Biscuits. I would love to do Beautiful. Hey, let's do a Carole King musical, Beautiful, and then let's do A Trip to Bountiful this season. Great. So that's your first idea. I know I want to do Christmas Carol. Wonderful, because it always is a show that everyone looks forward to. So you start with a season of ideas. Then you write and you see if you can get the rights to those shows, because
Mhm.
they're going to be regional premieres. And in Charleston, the historic Dock Street Theater, Charleston Stage, is a major house. So they typically get first dibs on shows that they want to do. So then you write in for those rights and see if they're available. If a show is still on Broadway, you're not going to get the rights to that show.
Mm.
If a show is leaving Broadway, there's an opportunity that you're going to get the rights to that show in your region if you're one of the larger houses. And then from there, you start saying, okay, who in our repertoire of actors that we already know could possibly play these roles? And then you hold auditions. So you may have people already in mind that you want to put in a show, and you could reach out to them and see if they're available. You also start to line up when the shows can fall in what area of the season. And that has a lot to do with a lot of many different things. And then from that point on, after you've decided when it's going to fall in which era, they hold auditions every year at the same time. And I believe they're in April. And so they are open up call auditions where anyone could come. And you may be asked to do a monologue and sing a song, and then you may get called back for a particular show. And then the shows will eventually get cast. And then so that could start a year out prior. So from that starting, and then hopefully you get the show cast very quickly, then you're going to start the production meetings, let's say 2 to 3 months prior to the show opening. So my production meeting started around the end of October. Yeah, I believe. Or the start, let's say the start of November. So November, December, January, we opened mid-January. So about 2.5, 3 months, you'll have production meetings to then get the show open. So yeah.
Wow.
And this show is not just here in Charleston. It's pretty much the East Coast, correct?
Well, we in Charleston, so this show, it's not a tour.
Okay.
It is solely done at the Dock Street, but it has been done in other areas. So
Okay.
once a show clears Broadway and it's done with its run, it now different areas in the United States or all over the world can get rights to put that show
Oh,
on.
nice.
So a theater has to desire to do your show.
Ah,
They have to do that. They have an audience that will come and see the show, because not only are we about the art and putting on great productions, you also want to make sure that you can make your money
mm.
back. Because, as you saw, the set was not free.
Oh,
It was actually very intricate, quite beautiful. And then you have actors to pay, and you have a director to pay, and everyone else who's working there needs to be paid as well.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that you can get your money back. So different theaters will decide if they want to get the rights to that show and put it on.
Wow.
So speaking of pay, we want to pay some bills real quick. We're going to take a quick break. But when we come back from this break, we want to dive into how you even got on this path from the first place, Crystin. So listen, y'all share this video. We'll see y'all when we get back. And we're back. So listen, y'all. Before the break, we talked to Crystin about her directing skills and her acting skills and how she kind of navigated that whole thing. But now, Crystin, we want to know what even got you on the path to even want to pursue acting. What made you go that route?
I found it, well, my mother says I started acting straight out the womb. So that's always funny to know. Um, and when I was younger, she would put me in pageants, and I would sing because I'm a preacher's kid. So I grew up in the church, and
Welcome
my
aboard.
dad has a beautiful voice. My siblings sing. I have an older sister and a younger brother. They sing as well. Honestly, I feel like they have better voices than I do, but I'm the one who uses it for a career. And so I started out doing artistic things, Black History programs at church, and I knew I had a love for it. But when I went to college, I majored in nursing. And it was when I had to do an internship at a nursing home that I realized that I had a weakness for bodily fluids, and I had to pivot. So that's how I ended up in acting.
Wow. What so and that's one thing that I want people to pay attention to. Like a lot of times, you may start off in one thing thinking like maybe this will make me money, or maybe this is what my parents want me to do, or whatever it is. But I think it's important as a being young to discover your passion at an early age, so that you don't waste a lot of time,
Yeah,
trying to figure things out. So you're the daughter of a preacher.
I am.
Oh Lord,
A
welcome to the PK Club.
non-denominational preacher, speaking in tongue and filled with the Holy Ghost and Holy Spirit. Yep.
Oh, welcome to the
Wow. And
club.
listen, all the PKs should get together and create like this real club where we have like a Visa card that says PK on the end. And you know how they have them conventions? Like if we have a PK card, hey, we get discounts. That's a sidebar though. But
Yeah.
listen, singing. You said all your siblings they sing too, but
Mhm.
you kind of really use it in your career.
Yeah.
Is there any inspiration behind that? Did your mother sing? Anybody in
My
your family?
dad.
Your dad was the singer.
Yeah. All the time around the house. Beautiful falsetto voice.
Mm.
And yeah, it came easily actually because we grew up in church singing. And I always have a passion for singing. I have a love for gospel. I have a love for the blues. I mean, I am from the outskirts of Memphis, so that's where it has
The
extreme roots.
Blues City.
Jazz, yeah, those are my genres of music.
So speaking of that, when as you were going to like growing up, right? Let's say elementary school, then middle school, then high school, and then you said I want to do nursing. Um, how long did you do the nursing thing before you realized, like, you know what, I don't like this? How many years, months?
In high school, I was in this organization called HOSA, which is Health Occupational Students of America. And so I was gung ho. I knew I wanted to be a nurse practitioner. That was my goal. That was my through line because I always loved to help people. I always wanted to serve. And I figured that was the way to do it. So I went to college, majored in nursing, and during an internship, that is when I realized that, oh, you mean people stick their tongues out at you all day and you have to feed them and you have to change them. And I don't know what I was thinking, but I guess I thought my job would be to come in and just check on people, give them be of assistance in other ways besides physically. You can't ask me. I was in college. Bad decision for me, even though I do still love helping people. I just realized that the way I can do it is through the stage because the arts is what we lean on when we're having a good day, a bad day, or when we lose a loved one, when we want to laugh, when we want to sing. It's where we go. I just had to overcome my shyness. I was extremely shy.
Or you can't be shy being an
No, you can't.
actress.
But I was. I wasted plenty of years of money
Wow.
because I was in the department and they would never see me audition for anything. I actually transferred schools. I went to University of Tennessee, no, University of Memphis, and then one time my guidance counselor came into one of my classes and said, "Is Kristen Gilmore in here?" And of course, I wouldn't dare move.
You
And
froze.
I froze. And my teacher was like, yes, she's here. And he's like, can you have her come to see me? And y'all, instead of going to see him, I sat in that class for like an extra 10 minutes after it was dismissed. And I kid you not, the next semester I transferred out.
Wow.
I was like, I can't do
So,
this. And my parents were like, Kristen, stop wasting our money. And if you say this is what you want to do, then do it. And it lit a fire under my butt.
mm,
But it took a whole nother semester at college to not do anything either or audition. And I was one of the few Black people at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, who's in the theater department.
wow.
And so there was an event that was going on. And when they realized I was there, they were like, you're in the theater department? We never see you. And they didn't.
Wow.
That was like the turning point for me. Like, if I'm going to do this, I have to give myself a fair shot. And it's worked.
Wow. So you left University of Tennessee to go to University of Memphis, and that's where you started your performance.
So I left. I went back to Memphis. So I went to the University of Memphis first,
Okay.
transferred out, went to UT Chat,
Oh wow.
transferred out, went back to Memphis.
Man.
And then I finished my degree there.
Awesome.
Go ahead, JR.
No, I was gonna just ask, and so then from there you left and went to New York and started there with your profession.
So then so in Memphis, they hold these auditions called UPTAs. It's Unified Professional Theaters of America. And it's where over 400 plus actors come over the course of a weekend. And about 30 plus theater companies come there. And you get to have 90 seconds to perform for them in hopes of getting a job. So in that 90 seconds, you can do 2 monologues if you can't sing, or you can do a monologue and a song if you can. And so I did. I auditioned there. I met Mary Beth, got a job with Charleston Stage. And after that, I moved to Charleston for a 10-month contract. After I finished my contract here in Charleston, I moved back to Tennessee and I saved my money. I waited tables, stayed there for a year. I threw myself a rent party, literally put a bucket at the door. I performed at a theater that a friend of mine owned. And I basically was telling them, this is what you're investing in. And I made enough money to pay my rent for my first month. I moved to New York. My daddy bought me my 3 pieces of luggage. I bought a one-way flight, and I was there for 16 years.
Wow.
Somewhere, Crystin, in between Memphis, the first time Memphis, you call it shy. I'm gonna just say straight up fair, FEAR, because we all deal with fear in some type of way, and fear kind of holds a lot of people back from really showing. Because in a market like that, in anything, um, you could be very skillful at something, but you have to kind of put yourself out there so others can see and they can give you those opportunities. So give us that switch. It was a switch that turned from the first Memphis, then you went to Tennessee State, then you went back to Memphis to prove that, hey, I ain't scared of you guys. I ain't scared. And you let the real Crystin out, and then something clicked. Where was that clicking moment that said, I'm going to New York? I don't care if I gotta wait tables. I'm going. Dad, give me. I'm going one way.
There wasn't a switch of I'm not scared anymore. I've always been scared. I'm still scared. I just do it anyway. So I always say, have the fear and run to it so you can prove that it isn't real and let it burst into a million pieces. So everything I do, I can't say I'm 100% comfortable. I'm very nervous. I don't know what's coming or what's going to happen. I just refuse to live a life of shoulda, coulda, wouldas. So I'm going to do it. That's really who I am. I've always been
I love that
person.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because oftentimes we allow that, and when you're scared, you don't make a move. You always should just do it anyway, because you just never know what could happen, and you never know where it would take you, man. That's a great point. I like that.
I like how you said that. I am scared. It's not like I'm not scared, but then you're showing the courage to go and approach your fear, look it in the eye, and say, I'm gonna do it anyway to show that it's not real. I love that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to ask, so do you think that's it's just basically stepping in faith without taking the initiative of holding that fear? It's pretty much a faith walk. Would you?
Absolutely. I know that the Lord's going to have me. You know, He says He'll supply all of our needs. I know if I take one step, He'll take two. And I know that if I continue to live in a place of I'm too afraid to try, well, then I'm going to be stagnant and stuck. And I refuse to do that because I'm headstrong, you know.
So listen, we have a few minutes left. What is next for Crystin Gilmore?
Crystin Gilmore is leaning into her voiceover. I love voiceover as well, and I'm going to really give that a shot. It's something I do on the side in free time, but I kind of want to sit still for a bit. Last year, I was living out of a suitcase for 9.5 months out of the year, and it took a toll on me. So I'm excited to be still, do voiceover for a little bit, and also get more into my motivational speaking. That is honestly my true passion, is motivational speaking. That's something that I will do all across the world because I want people to know how powerful they are. I want them to lean into their power and know that there's just one of them that was created. So there's no competition, only in yourself from yesterday.
I can see it and hear it in your voice.
Hey, I was going to say, you have a good talkable voice, but I'm doing this posture right here because we all know this one person that could, you said you want to be a motivational speaker.
Yes.
We have a mutual friend. You know this person as well.
Okay.
That's what they do.
Oh.
They open them doors for the motivational speakers, leaders, people who look fear in the face and say, I'm going to move forward. People like you, that's what they do. That's what they're about. I'll tell you the person when we get off. But yeah, that's a perfect segue for you. So listen, we're so excited that you came on the platform. How can people reach you? How can they reach you and everything that you got going?
Thank you for asking. My name, which is right on the bottom of that screen right there, Crystin Gilmore, is my website. So it's www.CrystinGilmore.com. I also am on IG at Crystin Gilmore. My email, CrystinGilmore@gmail.com. And those are 3 wonderful ways to be able to reach me. On my website, you can see some previous work of mine. You can hear my voiceover work. I also teach acting classes. You can see different shows that I've been a part of and productions. So yeah, you've got something you want to talk about or you need assistance in something. And you can also check out my podcast. I have a podcast. It's called POV with Crystin Gilmore, and it is on Spotify. It's on Tidal. It's on Tidal. It's on Spotify. It's on Audible. Check it out.
Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
So we're glad, excited you came on our little podcast. You know,
there's no little. We don't like that. Let me stop you, Gabriel. So when there's power in the tongue, you speak what you want, not what you don't. There is no little when it comes to God. You know how that goes. Sorry, I had to stop you real quick.
I'm glad. See, I was testing you. I was making sure. Nah, but thank you for coming on the podcast. You know, we're really honored to have you. You dropped a lot of jewels and gems. You know, I learned a lot just listening to you talk about your craft and your field and your industry. And it's very elating and enlightening for me. JR, you got anything?
I just want to say thank you so much, Crystin. It does my heart well to see young Black females doing great things in the community, producing great things, great content, and just being productive and, you know, and having God in their hearts and, you know, shining like a bright star. So I appreciate you. Thank you again. Hopefully this won't be the last time we meet and do some work together. So thank you.
I agree. And the same to you both. Thank you so much for being men of valor and for having great character and being professional when it comes to your craft. That's what we look for as people all the time. Someone we can recommend proudly.
Thank you.
So I appreciate you both for that.
Thank you.
Definitely, no doubt. So listen, y'all know where to reach her. Y'all reach out to her. She's been doing a lot. Actress, you know, director, singer, and every voiceover person, motivational speaker, and everything that God has inside of her to do. She's going to release that, and we claim it, we speak it, and it's done. So listen, I'm Gabriel Ori. This is my co-host.
JR.
And listen, y'all been watching Ask a Producer. We'll check y'all on the next one. Deuces.